Meet the team that doesn't just talk about impact, they ignite it. Jim Morris and producer Rachel.
Whoop, whoop.
Party. Party. Let's
so
get that
funny.
energy up. Let's go. Come on.
I'm trying. So it's funny because I'm working with a morning show here where I'm staying, and the main host can see me like in the producer room. So when you do these shows, like they're in a studio, I'm in a studio adjacent to them, and there's glass in between us.
Yeah.
So every time he says something that I like I understand, like he's on the right track, I like literally start jumping up and down and doing this, and he thinks it's so fucking funny. But it's like when you're talking in front of a crowd, it's one thing because you can feed off that energy. When you're talking into a mic, and you can't see anybody, like you're like, am I on the right track? Are we going down the right road? And so I try to react as much as possible.
Well, it's interesting because I've been on like a live or something, or someone's invited me into something, and I'm talking, and I hit a couple points that usually have good reaction, give me energy, so I feel like I'm in my flow, and then the other person on the other side is just like,
Nope.
and I'm like, like temperature check here. Like, are you picking up what I'm putting down? And
but
then
you are also a body language expert, so you like can read into it so much more. So like while you're talking, you're also analyzing. Like, okay, are they getting this? Like, am I going deeper here? Like, I would die.
I think that's the hard part is when someone's just like, they're not doing anything. I can't like. Like they're not like rubbing their neck after I said something, and I'm like, oh, they didn't like that, or they were uneasy, or so. Yeah, it's having someone on the other side to just go back and forth with is extremely important. So I appreciate you, Rachel. I appreciate
you too, Jim.
Yeah.
What's going on? Tell me all the things. What's happening?
I was just thinking about this morning as I was setting up the cameras and everything, and I haven't really talked about the experience that I had in Key West at the Success Summit. So spoke in Key West a couple weeks ago. It was absolutely amazing. Brock Zivan is an absolute stud, had an amazing room of people. We did all this cool stuff like a sunset cruise, and we went to a local ice cream shop together with everybody at the conference, and he really made it very experiential. And one of the things that I didn't know was going to happen, and I'm just so like blessed to be a part of it, but several of the speakers brought up your wildest dreams and some of your biggest dreams and your biggest visions. And Brock started off the conference talking about how he was living his dream. This event was his dream, to get these people together and have all this level of alignment and have all this impact. And it was really cool to see the energy that he got from being able to express that he was currently in his dream, like he's living the moment right now. And it was cool that, he rewinded 3 years to when him and I were on a stage together for the first time. And that's when he started his dream. So it was cool that I was on that stage with him. We were not speaking. We were giving away thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to the people who were speaking so they could teach us how to speak. So we laughed a little bit about that. And then to see him actually live it, and for me to again be part of it as I opened up the conference and I spoke and did a keynote. But it was so cool to see how much energy and the gain of energy people had when we started opening up about our dreams. So I opened my keynote up and I said, tell the person next to you. And so many electrifying conversations just happened. And I was starting to think like, when do I get a lot of energy from my dreams, and when do I not get energy from my dreams? And it's always that part where there's just so much that has to be done, and I'm dreaming deep, and I don't have the stepping stones in place, and it had me thinking, let's talk to this morning just a little bit about a big dream. And when we feel kind of that pressure, like it's never going to happen, it's inevitable. You just wrote your dream, your children's book. You just published it. You are a publishing house now. Like you've got all these things. one, how does it feel that you've done it? And two, bring us back to a place where you were like, I'm never going to be able to do this. There's just so much. This is such a big dream. Talk about the energy you got after you accomplished it, and talk about how you moved through not having some of the energy when there was all these things happening trying to accomplish.
Well, I want to start with the second thing, which is like, right? Like there's roadblocks. There's always going to be roadblocks no matter what. And so you really have to decide, am I going to just stop? Are we done? Or am I going to get around this roadblock? And so that was like step one, literally was just like, okay, great. Now we figure this out. Okay, great. Now we figure this out. Right. Like it was just, I had to just keep going. Certain things I just threw money at and just hired somebody on Fiverr and just said, do it. I don't care. Right. Like I can't, I'm not going to learn this. I'm not going to get Adobe to figure out how to do graphic. Like I'm not doing it. So you
such a smart, but like, I want everybody to realize how smart that is, because there's things where I think entrepreneurs, and I've done this myself, where I'm like, well, let me just learn that. And it's like, learn it to then teach it and hire and never use it. Why don't I just hire and never use it? So
especially graphics. Like I can do graphics in Canva, but I am not an Adobe Illustrator, right? And so I was like, well, I don't need that skill because I can hire somebody to do it. I do need to understand how to upload, how to create an ISBN, how to be a publisher. Like, what does that mean? And how much is this going to cost me out of pocket? So I could do all of the 20,000 other things, but that one thing could have stopped all of this. Right? Because if I don't have the final file to load up into Amazon KDP and, Ingram Spark and all places, that there's nothing. So it was just being honest with myself of, okay, what do I have the capacity for? And like, I created a deadline. And so it was for BookFest in Detroit, which was a couple of weeks ago, but the best part about that was like being in that space and was like, oh my God, like here's like having the physical book in your hand was insane. Like my hand was insane. And then the actual coin itself for like really quickly, I wrote a children's Christmas book about Santa and his secret wishing coin.
Wishing coins.
It's a wishing coin. It's the most beautiful thing ever. Essentially, instead of that like elf thing, that your kids may love, but other people don't. You just have a wishing coin on Christmas Eve. You hold the wishing coin, your kids hold it, the adults or parents or guardians hold it, and you all have to agree on what the wishes are. If your kids want something specific for under the tree, everyone has to agree on what the wish is, including the parents or the guardian. And then you put the coin under your pillow that night. And then the next morning you wake up and maybe your wish will be under the tree. Not all wishes come true, but you know what I mean? It's just, you never know. And so I think it's a beautiful thing to do together as a family. It also, I don't know, it was really about just believing in the magic and the spirit of giving, essentially, is what it's really all about. And so in that same vein, as I'm launching this and we're at BookFest, like we're there early in the morning, we're getting everything together. My husband's there, my kids are there. Like my dad came and supported me. Santa came, the Santa who's in the book came, which was amazing. And so I tried to stay in that space. I wasn't focused on how much I wasn't selling. I focused on the 12 books I did sell, right? Like I didn't have a sellout, but I sold 12 books. 12 people have my book. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then amazing. I launched it online as well. And I think in my head, that surprised me a little more by like who didn't buy it, if that makes sense. And so I had to really get myself out of that mindset because it wasn't about book sales, right? In this moment, it was about, I did the thing. Like I did the thing, like just be happy I did the thing. And so like, would it be great if it sells more? Sure. Did it surprise me that the people I thought that would support me the most didn't? Yes. But at the same time, like then those aren't my people for the book, right? Like how many times do people create something and they're like, wow, like you can't create something because you think your small like group of people will buy it, right? Like you have to create it for this many people. And so I had to stop focusing on this small amount of people. And then I have to start focusing on the larger groups of people. So because it's a holiday book, we're leading up to that, and how we're marketing it is like, we're putting it all together. And so it's just, again, I have to stay in like, wow, I did it. Like I did the thing, and not focus on like selling. And so
you did the dream.
Always,
you are a published children's author.
Isn't that crazy?
You got
It's
the
crazy.
coin, you got the book,
I
you
know.
did a freaking event already. Like, come on, let's
I
go.
know. But
that
like,
point,
don't we like shoot ourselves in the foot as business owners all the time? Like, talk to me about that and how, why do we always do that?
the first mastermind I launched, I made like $14,000 on it. And I was pissed that I didn't make 20. And someone turned around to me and said, dude, you just said you were going to do a mastermind 7 days ago and made $15,000 almost. And the thing that really hit me was I didn't even do the mastermind for the money. I did the mastermind because I knew people wanted to go deeper after an event. And I didn't have anything to go deeper with. And I didn't want to have what happened at a previous event where I did something extra and it was not the right people. There wasn't a fee to it. It was people just showing up, some that came to the conference, some that didn't. So I put some parameters around it. You had to come to the conference. It's a mastermind. These are the speakers that are going to come in, and it's going to be this period of time, and this is the price. And it's just crazy. Sometimes you get caught up in this whirlwind of doing these things for some reason, and it really was never the reason. It's just like that's what everybody was telling you to do or pressuring you, or someone asked me, and I know it was someone who was like, oh, did you make 20 grand? And I was like, oh, I guess there's something wrong with me. I didn't make 20,000 on my first mastermind that I decided to do 8 days ago, that I didn't have never done before, that I guess I failed. And it was like, whoa, and my wife's really good at this. Like, even with the marketing company we started this year, she's like, look at all the revenue we did. We did like 28,000 in like 16 days. Like, yeah, it's not a great month last month. Last month wasn't a great month, folks. It wasn't. Right? Like, we had some stuff change. We had some people sign contracts. We had some people not make payments. It wasn't great, right? But it was business. And we get back up and we continue going. And then we sign 2 or 3 new clients, right? And it's like, at what point are we doing the work for ourselves or for our wallet or for others? And I think it needs to be for ourselves. It needs to be for others and the wallet. I think that's all should align. But what's the impact, and who, why are we doing it? And what are we measuring against? Are we measuring against what some person told me about $20,000 I should make, and that's the goal? And that was their goal. Then I found out that person stopped doing masterminds. So what's their advice even matter anyway? Like, they don't even have a program. I think we get into those little ruts of, we want it to be better. We set our own expectation that we can be better, and we don't hit that goal. And it's like, oh my gosh, this was terrible. No, that was just one stepping stone closer to where we needed to go and what we needed to experience to get there. For your book, you needed to do an event. You sold 12 books. Like, you needed to go through that process. You probably have signage now that you can use at other events. You probably know how to set up a table a little bit better. Maybe you do this here or that. Maybe you needed someone else to help you, because you're going to get in deep conversations with people because you're the author, and they're going to talk your ear off and you're going to get like it. Well, do you have another sales associate who's like, can observe this and just go to the next person in line and not let anybody walk by, right? Like, you've probably learned tons of things in that experience. Well, now maybe it's 30 books next time.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, they put all the children's book authors literally at the complete other side of this venue space. Like, nobody was going over there. It was just a terrible space. Does that make sense? So it's funny because all 3 of us, like, there was he was 11-year-old author, myself, and then another woman wrote a book. And then there were other ones where I couldn't get to meet everybody. But we all sold literally the exact same number of books to different people. I was like, how many did you sell? 12. I sold 12. How many did you sell? 12. And I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious. And so, like, no, it does that sound like a lot? It's not. However, in that moment, before I got there, I had sold 0. So for me, it was a huge deal. And plus, our space was terrible. And so now I know in my head, okay, if this is going to be worth the time it takes to set all of this up and hire like my Santa to come to do all of these things for marketing purposes, right? Because of course you want Santa to come.
Of course.
And so like all of that is a cost out of my pocket. And so I really literally exactly like you said, I was like, I know what I need now to make this happen for the next time. And how do we go from here? Do I not do events ever again? No, that's stupid. Of course we keep doing events. So that's the situation that I'm in, that I love that we, as a business owner, you really have to get to that point where you have to remind yourself of your why, right? We've talked about that before. And I also think, and you know this, we've talked about this too, like comparison is a thief of joy, right? Like I'm not like, you see all these other people where they're like authors and New York Times bestsellers and all these things. And it's like, a lot of those people were selling books out of their cars, right? Especially children's book authors. Like we hustle. So you have to continuously promote yourself and not be scared to say like, hi, I wrote a children's book. Would you be interested in? Like, that's the next thing we're doing. I have a list of small bookstores now that I have to call and see if they're willing to put the book up. And it's like, I'm so proud of it. I'm happy, right? Like to make those phone calls. Will everybody want to carry it? No. But is that going to stop me from calling more stores? Also no. So we really, I think, as business owners who are trying to fulfill our dreams, will there be roadblocks? Abso-fucking-lutely. But how we react to those roadblocks, what we allow ourselves to either continue to do or not do, is really what kills the dream or doesn't kill the dream. Like we are our own dream killers. We are our own dream makers. And I think if people really understood that the power is in their own hands, I think that we'd probably get a lot more done and have a lot more dreams fulfilled.
It's that ownership. It's tough when we're in the mud, for sure, you know? Well, I think that's, so to everybody listening, have a dream, identify it, clarify it, start working towards it. It's not going to be easy. You're going to hit roadblocks, but you're going to gain energy from moving through those roadblocks. So it's like the gym. You're tired. You don't want to go. You need more sleep. You didn't eat well last night, but you go and you feel great afterwards. It's the same thing in business. Push through it to get to the other side. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.